Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is my review for Triangle Blue Velvet Season 1, Episode 7, and the name of this episode is Don't Be Jealous. Before I get started, let me thank all of you, from the Triangle Fan Club and the BRTV TV family for, all the birthday wishes you guys sent me. I greatly appreciate it. I'm 35 and I'm living and loving life, and hey, sky is the limit. Also, I want to let all of you listeners know, if you have not already done so, subscribe to brtbtv.com. I will have the link in the description box. So, yes, definitely subscribe to BRTB because it's so much great things that are coming up with BRTB TV, and you need to get yourself, signed up today. Also, check out the Triangle Fan Club on Facebook. You get everything BRTB TV. You get interactions from the cast and crew, also the fans, and also on Triangle Fan Club we also get updates from the creator, Caesar Williams. So definitely brtbtv.com, Triangle Fan Club. Get into it. All right, so let me begin with this review. The episode opens up with Chloe and Jabril. Now, for those who've been following the show, on the last episode, towards the last scene of the last episode, Chloe shows up asking, has Jabril come up with any results, in finding out about Kat's whereabouts. But Jabril has been caught up with, issues dealing with Davenport Industries because, he was outed as CEO. And then also dealing with, his marriage woes. So he's just been occupied with so much, and he pretty much says that, he hasn't come up with anything, involving, Kat or, her whereabouts, because Kat disappeared. But for all of us that have been watching Davenport Diaries, we saw that Kat was kidnapped. Well, we don't know by who or who's behind it, but we know it happened before, that big, launch party that was thrown at Baron's house. But so when Chloe heard this information, Chloe just flipped off on Jabril, told him that, I don't see what Kat sees in you. She says you're this great person, but you just seem to me that you're just like the rest of the Davenports. All you give a damn about is yourself. And I'm just like, yo, what the hell? Chloe was always very sweet, always soft-spoken, but then now we're seeing this Chloe is more edgy, and she's definitely, she's more, aggressive. And I'm definitely going to get to why I think that is. But let me press forward. So we see in this episode, Chloe and Jabril meet up again. He apologizes to her that he didn't have any updates about Kat. But he said that, and he lets her know that, look, I just been preoccupied with all of my own personal issues. But I'm here now, and I want to help you to find Kat. But Chloe is still giving Jabril the blues, and it's like, yeah, whatever. You're saying that, but I don't believe you. Yeah, you'll just say anything to me. And besides, I really don't need your help anyway. And Jabril had to get Chloe together. He was like, hold up, chicken noodle soup with the soda on the side. I understand you feel the way you feel, but if your sources were so good as you claim, you wouldn't be here asking me for help to find her. So obviously, you do need my help. And he lets her know that, look, he's going to look into it, and find out what happened to Kat, because she has a fear that she's been kidnapped because no one has seen or heard from her before that party. And no one has heard from her since. It's like she literally disappeared off the face of the planet. So Jabril says he's going to look into it. We next see that Brandon walks in, and he sees that Jabril is talking with Chloe, and Chloe ends up leaving. We see that, Brandon and Jabril, kind of embrace, because, from the last episode, really? those are, my, my notifications. Forgive me, y'all. But, we saw from the last episode that Brandon actually went to like a spiritual retreat, which was a part of his recovery, and he just not too long, got back into town. But we kind of see there's some distance between him and Jabril, and Brandon asks about like what's going on with Chloe. Why was she here? What's going on? And he lets her know about she's looking for Kat, and then he also tells Brandon that Chloe is Kat's daughter. So now he knows about this, but he says that he wants to help her find Kat. And Jabril's also helping Chloe. He's keeping her up in a hotel, and he's been holding her down. And she says one of the main reasons why she also wants to locate Kat, because Kat has complete control of the finances. And even though Chloe has trust funds, due to the fact that Kat is not involved, some of her funds are running out, and she really doesn't have any means to support herself. So Jabril says he wants to help, but then Brandon is like, you know what, I don't want you getting involved in nothing else. It's like you got enough on your plate already. It's like, damn, it's like, I don't need no more negative energy. You don't need to subject yourself to more problems. But Jabril lets him know he has it handled. Then we get a scene with Lenny and Allure. Now, we saw from the last episode they had this big blowout, at Jabril's house, and Jabril was like the middleman between the two of them. But in this scene, we're seeing the aftermath of that big fight. And, she apologizes for how she acted. He apologizes. But Allure finally comes out and says that, look, I love you. I do care about you. But, I tried to be okay with, with your status, but I can't deal with it. And it's not working. So I think we should just be friends. So, of course, Lenny, definitely is in his feelings about it because he really does love Allure. And he was saying that, look, I have to respect your decision, and, I do love you, and, we're just going to have to do the best we can. So they pretty much decided to end as friends, but we can definitely see that Lenny get back to where they were. So let's see. So then we also get another scene with Brandon and Jabril. Brandon's talking about, we should actually do some good, as far as like the community, we should give to charity. And Jabril was like, okay, well, give me some charities that you're thinking about, and, I'll be more than happy to help support you. But then he's saying, I want to do something, more spiritual, like, there's this church, that needs funding, for their community program. We should, sign up and actually be there to actually work with them. It's not just giving money, but actually giving service. And Jabril is totally not with that. And this is the dilemma that's going on now between Brandon and Jabril. And this is going to be a major challenge. Because we know that Brandon, after, him overcoming his drug addiction, overcoming the grief of his mother's death, he is now reconnecting, with the Lord. He's now getting, reclaiming, his spirituality, which is something that's completely foreign to Jabril because Jabril is not religious. He's not spiritual. But Jabril at the heart is a good person, but if you piss him off, he'll become the worst devil that you ever met. And we've seen that with Jabril. And now we're seeing that this is going to be the big challenge between the two of them because Brandon wants to become more spiritual and wants to get back into, being active in church, whereas Jabril is not about that life. So this could possibly go either way because sometimes when you're in a relationship and one person believes one thing and the other person believes another, it could be the kiss of death for a relationship. But if each party can respect each other's position and just learn to love at the core, it could possibly work. So it's not necessarily saying that because they have different beliefs, their relationship's not going to work out. But it's going to be a challenge that they're going to have to address, or it could lead down, or it could lead, it can go completely left. So then we end up getting a scene, with Lenny and Jabril. Lenny comes over. Lenny has this great software plan, and he asks Jabril to invest in it. So he asks for like, $10,000, and then he says that, the kickback would be like 50%. But Jabril only says that no, that's too much. And I'm just gonna ask for 20% as far as the kickback, but this looks like a great plan, and I'm all about helping you. And then while he's talking about it, Lenny mentions that Allura said the same thing. She said that this is a good business plan, so I did my homework before I came to you, and she said this was a good business plan, so I just wanted you to support me. And Jabril agrees. Then afterwards, because what happened was that I think Brandon had let Lenny in, and he was there like waiting for Jabril, and Jabril finally showed up, and they discussed it. But then after Lenny left, Jabril and Brandon started talking, and he was saying that, do you think it was a good idea to go in business with him? I mean, him and Allura just broke up. It's still fresh. I mean, do you think that's going to cause a problem? And Jabril's like, look, at the end of the day, it's business, and, at the end of the day, Allura will understand that. But then Brandon is like, I don't know. I mean, right now it's really fresh, and, you don't want to involve yourself in the middle of this and cause problems with her. But Jabril says that don't worry, I'm on top of it. Then he gets a call from Chloe, and we also see that that Jabril had got some information, from the hotel that Kat was staying in the night that she had disappeared. So he had got some video footage, and Chloe, was like, once Chloe came over, and she was like, well, how did you pull that off? Well, she says, and he was like, well, she's like, I went to the same place to get the footage, and they said they didn't have anything. And he says, well, people tend to change their minds once you throw money their way. So Jabril kind of let Chloe know, I'm on top of this shit. You went there, but they didn't give you nothing because you weren't giving up nothing. So he said that I pretty much had to, I had to grease some palms to get this information. So he now has the security footage of the hotel, so they can kind of trace back to what happened to Kat, and was she kidnapped, or has she just disappeared off the face of the planet? No one knows. So they pretty much, Chloe is there for them to, kind of go over the information in regards to that. Okay, then, so pretty much, first we had Chloe, and, she's there. Then all of a sudden, we see that we end up getting a series of pop-ups. Because the next thing we see that Lenny pops up, and he wants Jabril to sign off on some of these, well, actually, I think what happened was that he calls, forgive me, y'all. What ends up happening is that he calls Chloe and lets her know he's got the footage, so she's on her way. She didn't even waste no time. She's like, I'm on my way there. So she's on her way, but before she gets there, Lenny shows up. He wants Jabril to sign off on the deal because he wants to process it by the end of the business day. And he said, okay, so pretty much, he took care of that, but then in the process of that, Chloe comes in, and he's discussing, his business plan, and also discussing, his website, whatever. But then we see in this scene, Chloe and Lenny pretty much got some chemistry. I wouldn't say it's physical, but they gel. They pretty much click instantly. and she starts helping him, with his website and saying that, you got to get the website to pop because that's what's going to draw people to your business. So she's actually there helping and everything. Brandon is there. So, and then Jabril, Chloe, and Lenny are at the table, discussing, Lenny's business and everything. Next thing you know, we get another doorbell. Brandon goes to answer the door. And we see the way that Brandon came in. Brandon looked so uneasy and so uncomfortable, it was not even funny. But what ended up happening is that Allura shows up. Allura immediately looks at the fact that Chloe and Lenny are discussing, and they look like they're engaged. Allura, because what happened is that earlier, Jabril went to Allura to ask questions, as far as like, is there any position in Davenport Industries, because he's trying to get Chloe a job, because due to the fact that Chloe's money's drying up, she needs an income. And she asked Jabril, could he help her, find a job? So she talked to Allura, and Allura pretty much came. Allura said that she would look into it to see what was available, and that she can try to help her, land a job. So she came to Jabril's to give him a list of all the job possibilities. But the way she did it, you could tell she was bothered, because she's like, well, here's the list that you were asking me about as far as the jobs, and I'll let you guys get back to whatever it is that you're doing. And she just kind of like twirled her neck and ran the hell out of there. And all of a sudden, Lenny goes after her, and Chloe's kind of like, what the hell just happened? Then outside, Allura and Lenny are going back and forth. She's mad as hell, like, oh, so this what it is? We just broke up, and all of a sudden now you're in Chloe's face? Oh, that's what it is? And he says that it's nothing like that. It's nothing like that at all. And she's like, you don't have to lie. I saw you guys. I saw that you guys had a connection. I saw everything. And then she was like, I hope you told her about yourself. And I was like, okay, Allura, you are out of order and you are out of line for that. But Lenny was like, oh, really? This is how we're going to do it, Allura? And he's like, you know what? You have a good night. And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm leaving. He's like, good, I'm glad. And I'm like, damn. So it's like now that they broke up, the tension's there because she does love Lenny. But at the end of the day, she can't accept his HIV status. But boo-boo, you can't hold him in confinement. Now that he's single, he's free to talk to whoever he wants to talk to. But it's obvious Allura still has feelings for Lenny. She just hasn't come to terms with making peace with the fact that he's HIV positive. But yeah, so that went, and eventually Chloe's like, what the hell is going on here? And Jabril lets her know that, Lenny is Allura's ex. So she's like, whoa. So after all that went on, I think Lenny ends up doing. He comes in, gets all this information, and he ends up leaving because he just got blown after Allura pulled that stunt. So he ends up leaving, and then Brandon convinces Jabril that he needs to go talk to Allura and set things right with her. And he's like, what's the big deal? She's like, oh, okay, they're not together anymore. What's the problem? She's like, but obviously she feels some kind of way, because we saw, previously when he met with Allura, he had told her about him working with Lenny, and at first she was really pissed off. She was like, really, Jabril? We just broke up and you already doing business with him? Seriously? Like, damn, did you think about my feelings? And she said that at the end, and Jabril kind of had to let her know that, look, at the end of the day, this is a good deal, and I'm not working the business with him. I'm just going to help him, I'm just going to be an investor. And she kind of simmers down. It's like, okay, I understand, and after all, it's a good business plan. So I'm glad that you're doing this for him. But then we had saw before Allura showed up at the house, Lenny wanted Jabril to actually be a partner in the business, and he wanted him to be more involved. But Jabril was like, no, that's too much. I'd rather just be an investor, and that's it. You know, I don't want to involve myself anymore, which would cause conflict between me and my cousin. So he backed off. So Brandon convinces him that he needs to go talk to Allure, and that he'll stay there and keep Chloe company because Chloe was there for a reason, and they were gonna, you know, look at the footage. So what ends up happening? Jabril goes to talk to Allure. Allure is now calm, and she's like, yeah, I'm glad that you're helping Lenny and everything, but it's just that when I saw them, I just immediately jumped to conclusions, and, you know, I'm sorry that I acted like that, and I shouldn't have popped up. Yeah, note to self, because we saw it with August, you know, when August just popped up. Everybody popped up. I mean, the person, yeah, even Chloe popped up because he was telling her about that he got some information. She just immediately dropped the phone and came over. So everybody popped up. Lenny popped up, Chloe popped up, and Allure popped up. This is the price you pay when you pop out of somebody's house unannounced. You know, hit me up on the phone or text me to let me know you coming. Just don't show up at my doorstep, because whatever you see is what you get. So we see that Jabril and Allure have a conversation, and she says that yeah, she's cool now, and she's glad that he's helping Lenny with his business because it's a good business deal, and you know, she's sorry that she kind of jumped to conclusions and that she shouldn't have just popped up. So we saw that go on. Then we see that he finally comes back, and we see that Chloe and Brandon are actually having a conversation, and they're pretty much getting along. And you know, Brandon was like, you know, I'm sorry to hear about, and he let her know that Jabril told me that Cat's your mom, but don't worry, I'm not going to tell your business. But the thing about it, I really don't want Jabril involved in this. And she says that, look, Jabril was the only person that I could come to. I don't want him involved, and I understand why you feel the way you feel. You do not want to put your husband in danger, but that's definitely not what's going on here. But then like Brandon's like, well, I hope so, and I pray that you know that we find Cat safe and sound. But then at first he kind of made a comment that he's like, you know what, you're such an awesome girl, man. Like you're gonna make a guy real happy. And you know, she was like, oh, I am off of men. I don't need a man, and I just don't have time for men anymore. And I'm like, see, this is where the little attitude came from, because you pretty much gave up your virginity to the pansexual slut puppy, rough. And now that you see that, you know, that Julian ain't shit, you now feel some kind of way, and now you taking that frustration out on everybody. But we finally see that Jabril finally comes back, and him and Chloe actually go over the footage, and they notice a lot of discrepancies, that the times were off, things weren't adding up. So now Jabril has hit the head like, okay, now we know something happened. The question is, who do we think is behind it? Because we saw early on that when Brandon and Jabril were talking, you know, Brandon asked, do you think your dad may have been behind this? And he says, yeah, I thought about my dad possibly doing it. But then like, you know, when I kind of thought about it, it doesn't seem like my dad's, you know, MO. So I don't think he has nothing to do with this. And personally, I don't think Darren has anything to do with Cat disappearing either, because, you know, Cat was about to, you know, clean up in that divorce settlement. So he was saying that based off of that, I thought that, yeah, he may have had something to do with it. But, you know, the way that it went down, it doesn't seem like my dad's style. So I don't think it's him, but it's somebody. So now him and Chloe now have gotten somewhere. They now realize there's some discrepancies there, but he says, I'm going to go back and I'm going to find out what's going on. Then we see the last scene, Brandon and Jabril are in bed. Brandon is in his little spiritual realm. He's reading the Bible, you know, because he's not liking the situation. Jabril's trying to, you know, talk to him. He was like, could you please, you know, stop distracting me? I'm having a peaceful time. And the Lord, I'm like, Brandon, really? You peaceful, but you reading the Bible out loud, though. Really, Brandon? But again, Brandon lets it be known he is not here for him being involved in this whole situation with Chloe and Kat, and that, you know, he needs to just distance himself altogether. Like, he said that you didn't start having all these problems till you went back to your family, and now look what happened. Now it's affected our marriage, it's affected your business, it's affected everything. And he said that, yeah, there's moments I felt that, you know, if I never would have went back, you know, to my family, I probably would have been better off, and we probably would have been more happier. But yet, I hated being broke, and being broke was hurting the hell out of me. You know, because we knew that he was broke because Neil's, you know, bipolar as, you know, robbed him, you know, of the money that he had. So by the time he met Brandon, he was broke and struggling, and he wasn't going to go back to his family. But it got to the point after the whole situation went down between, you know, him, Brandon, and Derek, you know, shit went left. That's what prompted him to go back to Fallon to ask for his trust. You know, if y'all been following the show back in season 1, y'all know what I'm talking about with that. But Brandon is kind of like really telling him that, you know, you need to just leave all of this mess alone, and you know, give your life to God. You should get saved, and you need to, you know, give your life to, you need to give your life to Christ. And Jabril is like, look, I'm not here for all that. You know, it's just not me. But then, like, Jabril was like, well, while you at it, you know, since you're being all biblical, won't you put down this Bible and let's work on husbandly duties. And they start making out, and you know, and I was just like, see, the love is still there, but right now they're in a challenge, and all we can do is hope that Jabril and Brandon can make it through. So that's what I have. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear your comments. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell to get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social platforms. I have them listed in the description box. As well, again, subscribe to drtvtv.com. I will also have that link in the description box as well. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I will be back with the next episode of Triangle Blue Velvet. So until next time, everybody, take care.